Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we are creating invoices and proposals in WEX FSM. This webinar will cover a job form overview, recommended job form settings, where to create job forms. When we say job forms, I am referring to proposals and invoices. The copy feature versus creating a job form new from scratch, how to convert proposals to an invoice, creating invoices, and then we'll go over a little bit on progress billing and some job form reporting so you can manage your proposals and invoices in bulk. We'll do a live Q&A at the end where you'll be able to get your questions answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's dive into WEX FSM. When you first log in to wexfsm.com, it will bring you to the schedule page. And the first place we're actually going to go to is hop into a job. Now, if you are brand new, the way you can get to a job is either from the appointments that you have on the appointment page. You can hover over. It will show you the job, and you just click on it to go into the job. You can also search for customers. So if I'm searching my customer, Justin Hernandez, I'll click on his name. And you will see any jobs that have been created are here in the timeline. So we are on job 13437. And just to give an overview of what job forms are your proposals, your invoices. It also includes purchase orders, which we're not going over today, but you will see those in the proposals and financing section. If you click on a PDF icon, which you see here, it will show you what the job form looks like. If you have uploaded your logo, which we'll look at how to do that in just a bit, you will see that here. And this is what your customer sees when you send this to them. You can also, from the job page, convert proposals easily to invoice to take payment, send to your customer. And if you send it to them, there will be a timestamp letting you know the date and time, the most recent date and time that was sent to the customer. Same for invoices. Click on the PDF. View what the invoice looks like. If you notice, it looks exactly the same. The biggest difference is it will say proposal or invoice in the top. Proposals you cannot take a payment on, but when you convert it to an invoice, then you can take payment. So that's really the biggest difference. But in terms of adding items, the information that you see, everything is going to be exactly the same for proposals and invoices. Now, before we dive into proposals and invoices and actually creating them, I highly recommend that you visit the following pages because those are going to be your admin settings that you're going to set up to make sure that your job forms are by default set the way that you like. To do this, we will start by going to Settings, Jobs, and we want to go to all of these pages, which we will do together today. So we're going to go to business details, contract terms, job preferences, job types, and payment terms, starting with business details. This is exactly what it says. It's the page with all of your details about your business. And the reason why I want to come here is this is what your customers are going to see on proposals and invoices. So when you signed up, maybe you used your personal email. You want to update that to the service email that you want your customers to actually write to. Is your time zone correct? Is your business address information correct? We have a custom footer here where you can actually enter in anything you want. That could be blank if you want, or you can put your slogan. You can put a license number, but this will show up in the footer in the bottom of all proposals and invoices. So just a good place to put your own custom text on your job forms. And here's where you update your logo. If you have an image of your logo, you will click Choose File, select the path where it is on your computer, and upload it here. You'll know it's uploaded because you will see it up here in the top left. But more importantly, as we saw earlier, it will show up and brand your proposals and invoices with that company logo. The background color also does matter. The color that you select here, which you can just click, select maybe the main color of your company, and then hit save. And that will update the banner up top here, but it also will be the color of the accent bars on your proposals and invoices. Make sure with any adjustments that you make, you are clicking save. If you make adjustments, you get busy, you end up closing out of this, it will not save. Always hit save after any edits on really anything that you do in the system. Next, let's go to contract terms. That will be settings, jobs, contract terms. And this is the legal stuff. So your contracts between you and your customer as you are completing jobs. Now, your system will come with a default terms, but I recommend you come in here and update them. It might even say example terms and conditions, which if you're sending out a real invoice to someone, you don't want it to say example terms. So come in here, update this. Some of my customers, they just have one set of terms to rule all jobs they do. And then other customers, they do many different types of jobs that require different terms and conditions. So click create new terms, put the name of the terms here, enter the description. This will be visible to your customer in the terms and conditions sections of your job forms. You can copy and paste into here if you already have it written up somewhere else. You can also just type natively in here. And you can make these the default terms for proposals and invoices. So you can see my general terms and conditions is what I want to default every time I make an invoice. But every time I make a proposal, I want the proposal contract terms to be default. And these are just defaults. If you want to change the contract terms on a proposal or invoice, you will click a drop down and have all of your options that you have set here available on the job forms. Next, let's go to job preferences. We'll go to settings, jobs, job preferences. And then here you get to set how you want your job forms to look, what items you want on there, and you do this by toggling on or off visibility for these things. Now, sometimes you may not know exactly what something means, and usually there is a little I next to it. If you hover over the I, it gives you a little more context on what that means. But basically, this is asking, do you want your proposals and invoices to show location name, model number, unit prices, maintenance plan savings, billing address, product number, and line item amounts and quantities? Maybe I don't want my customers to see the model number. I need to know the model number so I know what to order from the supplier, but I don't want my customer to look at the model number and then go online and see how much it is and try to, gauge what I'm charging them. So you can just get rid of that by default by turning that off and make sure you hit save at the bottom. And then when you create a proposal or invoice, you can opt to turn these on or off from the actual job form manually as well. This is just what the default will be when you create it for the first time. Next, let's go to job types. So we will go to settings, jobs, job types. Now, job types as it relates to proposals and invoices come in most handy with reporting. So when you are creating a job or when you create a new appointment, it will require that you select what type of job it is. Maybe you're working in the HVAC industry and you create a new appointment for a no AC call. You would want to select the no AC job type. And then in your reporting, you could go to a report that has all of your invoices. And then maybe you want to look at all invoices for the last 2 months for no AC job types. Very easy to do because over the last couple months, you have been tagging all of your no AC calls with the job type here. And actually, as it just relates to proposals invoices, I think that is all you need to know for that. Click New Job Type, enter the information, and hit Save. Next, let's take a look at payment terms. So we will go to Settings, Jobs, Payment Terms. And then these will be the payment terms that your customer will need to pay by. So maybe you're doing a lot of single family residential and everything's due on receipt. I provide the service, you pay at time of service. It's due when the job is done. And then I have a bunch of commercial customers where we're doing more net 30, net 60, and this is up to you. So whatever terms you have for payment times, you'll want to put those in here. You can click new payment terms and you just put the name of the terms and how many days they have to pay and hit save. And then you can make one of these default. So like right now, I have due on receipt as default. When I create an invoice, it will just automatically default to due on receipt, but then I can click the drop down and choose a new payment term from the list we have set here. That is everything from the settings jobs tab. There's a couple more things I do recommend setting up before we actually create our first proposal. And those three things are your price book, your warranties, and if you offer maintenance plans. You want to get those set up first because when I create a proposal or invoice, I need to charge the customer, so I will need to add pricing. I'll need to add items from my price book. And then if there are any warranties that are available for the equipment I'm selling, you'll want to have those already preset. And if I run a maintenance plan program and I want to sign my customers up for maintenance plans, you also need to make sure those are set up as well. I will be showing you where to go to set these up, but we're not doing a deep dive into price book or maintenance plans. But if you do have any questions about those, we have, if you go to the Help Center in the bottom right, click on the smiley face guy. You can go to video courses and webinars. You can check our calendar here to see if we have any live sessions. We do offer a beginner and advanced price book and maintenance plan topics. And if you go to courses, you can learn how to build and manage your price book, very detailed video course here, and sell and track maintenance plans. Again, another great video course here. And then if you want to watch a recording of our replay or of our webinars, you can come here as well. And I would say, where is it? Price book basics and advanced, maintenance plans, basics and advanced. But to get to and update your price book, you'll go to more applications, price book, My Price Book. Before you start really diving in and using your proposals and invoices, always good to get your price book set up here. You'll want to have folders, get them organized nice and neat, and add the items that you will sell to your customers. Then go to More Applications, Maintenance Plans. This is where you will set up your maintenance plan templates that we're going to reference this later when we're adding a maintenance plan. But if you don't have anything set up here, you won't have anything to select. So these will be the templates. Set these first, then they'll be available on your job forms. And last admin setting that I recommend is warranties. So we're going to do More Applications, Price Book, Warranties. If you offer any type of warranties, that can be parts or labor warranties, you'll set the name, the warranty length, add a description, and save. When you're creating your price book items, as long as you have your warranties created, you can actually attach specific warranties to your price book items, and then you don't have to add them in the moment. When you add that item to a proposal or invoice, the warranty will also be included. So that's just a pro tip. Set up your warranties here, set up your price book, add applicable warranties, and then in the moment, you don't have to worry about it. They'll already be attached. So that's our foundation. That's our setup. That's setting all of our settings. And now let's see job forms in action. We have two main ways that you can create job forms. One way is from the customer page, and another is from the job page. So I'm working with a customer. I want to create a proposal or invoice very quickly. I will search for that customer, go to their customer page. Let's say I search for Justin Hernandez. And then in the quick actions section, all these red buttons, the very last one is create new job form. And when you click on this, this will allow you to create a new job. And you have the option to create the new job with a proposal, with an invoice. And you can also make it without a proposal or invoice. It's just an empty job folder. And you can go in and add proposals and invoices later. So let's say this is a service call. We have people in the HVAC industry here. So let's do no AC. And then I can create a proposal or invoice. So actually, let me check my notes really quick. Yes, yes. Okay. And so once you have this, let's say we want to create an invoice, you will click Create New Invoice. Oh, Serif token is invalid. Please try to resubmit the form. I'm not sure why I did that. Let's refresh. And we just want to create a quick invoice. So create new job form. This is a no AC call, and create new invoice. There we go. Now it has created a job folder, and it's going to put this invoice in that job folder when we are done. That is just a quick example of how you can create this. We'll do a breakdown in just a second, but we'll go ahead and just discard the changes on that. So that's one way to create job forms is through the customer page. You can also create job forms directly from a job. So if I create a appointment, let's say. All these appointments here have jobs. So if I hover over the appointment, we can see here is a no AC call job. If I click into the job from any job page, you are able to create new or copied proposals and invoices. Now, what's the difference between new and copy? New will create a brand new job form from scratch. It will have the customer's information at the top, but it won't have any items, preset warranties, any options. It's just going to be a blank form. Copy, let's do that now. If I click copy, it's going to allow you to copy a previous job form. And this can save you a lot of time, especially if you do the same job over and over again. You know, this new customer is asking for something that I did 10 times last week. So you can come here. If you are clicking on copy for the first time, it will have favorites pre-selected, which will show you your favorites in your system. If you uncheck favorites by clicking on it, it will show you all invoices in your system. And really, it's up to you how you want to use this. But a pro tip is when you're creating your proposals and invoices, in the moment, if you think, I'm going to want to copy this in the future, this is a good one, I need to make this easy to find, favorite it, and then add a name to it. And we'll look at how to do that in just a second. And let's just see an example. So if I click on this general service call, it will now copy everything over. And all of the items that I had on that previous job form will be here on the new job form with our customer. And then you can make adjustments. Any edits that you make to a copied job form will not update or edit what it was copied from, the original template. Okay, so that is a basic overview of the job forms. And now let's create a proposal from scratch and build it out. We're going to create the proposal, convert it to an invoice, and take payment, just like you might do with a real job. So let's make our way to 13437. Very good. So I'm on a job. Let's say that we have a big install that we're doing, and I want to make a proposal. This is going to be an estimate that we're going to show the customer and try to get them to sign up for that install. To do this, scroll down to Proposals and Invoices, and let's click New. This will put you in build mode whenever you are creating. Build mode is your perspective and you building out the job form. And then present mode is more for the customer's perspective. It cleans things up a little bit and allows you to showcase what you're offering. Let's go ahead and start at the top. We're going to work our way down on each section, buttons, best practices of building a proposal. Like we mentioned earlier, let's say that I know this is a furnace that I sell all the time, and I will want to copy this in the future. Mark it as a favorite from the top here, and then name it right here, proposal name. Maybe this will be a furnace install. Get as detailed as you want in the proposal name. That just makes it easier to know what is on this at a glance. Pricing settings in the very top right. Let's look at that. When you click on pricing settings, this allows you to select the pricing strategy. and some view options. I can either show or hide maintenance plan pricing, line item quantity and prices, and line item unit prices. Uh, it gets confusing a little bit if you don't know this, so I do like to point this out. If we want to hide line item quantities and prices, that means that it'll show the line item, but it will hide for your customer the quantity and the price of that individual line item. It hides the individual line items, but will show the total. So they'll still see all of the steps. Maybe you're doing a project in phases, but you just want them to see the total. That is how that will be viewed. But if I hit update and it's hidden, you'll still see the quantity and price here in build mode for your reference. But when you hit present, those fields will go away for the customer. Next, you can add a technician. Let's say that for, the next month, I want all proposals to track the technician. And then in my reporting, I'm going to go see what proposals each user has made and who had the highest, conversion rate. So just select your technician, click save, and now Dustin has been assigned as the technician for this proposal. There's also a custom field. Not everyone uses this, but if you need it, maybe you're working with a commercial customer or, a customer in the government, and they require you to have your license number or a work order number. Click custom field, whatever info you have here, click save, and now that will be included in this section when your customer sees it. Featured image is going to allow you to upload an image that will represent this proposal in total. This is best used with the proposal comparison tool. If I create 3 proposals, maybe one for each type of system that I want to sell my customer, I can put a featured image for each proposal. And in the comparison, it'll show a picture when I'm swiping through the different options. So that is where featured image comes in handy. And now the bread and butter of the job forms is adding items from our price book. We need to be able to charge our customers, and this is where that starts. Click Add Item. From here, there's a lot to look at if it's your first time seeing this, but let's break this down. It starts you in the search mode. When you click in the search bar, this is best if you know exactly what you're looking for. I need a coil. Type in the key term, and anything with that word in it will show up in the list here. But know that this will only search per bucket. So think of each of these tabs as a bucket with items in them. And if I'm searching for a coil, this is all items that have the word coil in my integrated WEX FSM price book. If I switch over to the Profit Rhino price book, it will search this term in there. And if I am syncing to QuickBooks and I'm trying to find items in my QuickBooks item list, I will choose this bucket. Searching is one way that you can find items. Let's go ahead and add let's see what happens. I think we have something called a big old install. Somebody might have deleted. Oh no, we're in the wrong bucket. Aha. So just make sure you're in the bucket that you want to search from. And there it is. So I just typed in, I knew what it was called, and we will add that. You can also search through folders. So if I click here, these are the folders that would have been set up when I made my price book. Now I can navigate through these folders very easily. Let's say we'll go to general and we will add some labor. So I'll go into service, we'll add general labor and add item. And there you go. Now, if you want to edit these, they become unique as soon as they make it onto the job form. Click on the title, and now you can customize any of these fields. A pro tip for anyone syncing to QuickBooks, you'll make sure to set up an income account here. Or well, you'll set the income account on the price book items when you create them. That is basically where do I want the revenue for this to sync to in QuickBooks. But if for any reason you do not have that selected, you just want to spot check and make sure it's syncing to the right place from here. You can easily toggle taxes on and off by clicking the T. And you also have some quick access to change the quantity from here. Let's say we actually did 3 hours of labor. And then if you want to change the price, quick access to price change here just by click, make an adjustment, hit the check, and now the price has been changed. Let me check my notes before moving on. Oh, good. Okay, so at the top here, if you want to update the tax group, let's say this customer, we're pulling, the taxes are going to pull by zip code. So it will auto default taxes. You don't have to do this every time. It'll just select it. But let's say for this particular customer, I let them know, don't you worry, we're going to give you 0% tax. You can just update that here. If I want to add a custom item, that is a use case where I search my price book, the thing I need is not in there, and I need this now. You can use a custom line item, click add custom line item. First, your system's going to want to double check that you don't already have this. So if you type in a term and it's not in there, it will not show any results, and then you can create custom line item as entered. Let's try, duct tape. And you may see, oh, I didn't realize I have duct tape right here. And then you can use that. Otherwise, you will create custom line item as entered. Enter the information here. Let's say we just need one and hit. Oh, very important if you're syncing to QuickBooks. It's not required, but you do need to select where you want this to sync to if you want this item to sync to QuickBooks and hit add. Realize this is just a big pro tip with being nice and clean with your sync. If you have technicians in the field and they're just creating custom line items back to back and not selecting an income account, when you go to your invoice list, you're going to have not readies down the board. If it doesn't have an income account, it will not sync. It has to know where to go. So if you're going to recommend to your technicians that they create custom line items, make sure they also know to select the income account. All right. And now let's look at financing and maintenance plans. These are also items that need to be set up ahead of time. So if you want to offer financing, you will need to apply for financing, have that approved, pick the loans you want to offer your customers. There are some steps to take before getting to this point. And then we looked at the maintenance plan page, and that will come into play here. Select a financing product. You can only select financing on proposals. It's typically for bigger jobs that you would be making a proposal for anyway, but you can't add financing directly to an invoice. It's only here on the proposal. Select the loan you want to offer your customer and click Save. That will add like a recommendation first. Tell your customer, you can get this service. It'll be $198.83 a month for 6 months. Sounds great. Let's do it. Click Continue to apply. And then that will bring you to the financing calculator where you will then continue forward with your customer to fill out the application. You'll hit Start Application. Each lender, each loan will be slightly different. but in general, this is the page you'll come to, and you will move through whatever application process that is at that time. Let's cancel. And I believe once you go past that point, it doesn't bring you back yet. So let's see if we can get a cheeky back button. Yes. And let's go back to our furnace install. There we go. Yeah, usually you would be moving forward through the application, not backwards. All right. Now let's add our maintenance plan. This customer, Justin, already has a maintenance plan because I've been using him all day as an example. If they do not have a maintenance plan, it will say recommend a maintenance plan. If they already have a maintenance plan, it will say recommend an additional maintenance plan. Either way, to add a maintenance plan, click recommend a maintenance plan, select from the drop down, select the plan that you want to offer. And all of this information should be correct as long as your template was set up correctly. Click save to add it to the proposal. And now sign up now. This is a recommendation at first. It's not connected to the customer yet. Sign up now is what actually attaches it to the customer and allows you to build out the specifics. So I would select the plan. Everything else from that plan is pulled in. So technically, this is good to go. We could just click through. But if you do need to make changes or adjustments, you can make that here. Let's click next. Service windows is saying this is the time frame in which we will contact you or you'll contact us to come out and actually do the visit. So example, this is saying we're going to go out between January and June and do an AC cleaning, and July and December and do a heat cleaning. For this special customer, maybe we want to add an extra service window for them. Add as many service windows as you would like, set the ranges, enter the names, and when you save this, it will then create a job for each of the service windows. And when you go to schedule, you'll actually use those jobs so it stays connected to the maintenance plan, just so you can keep track of your maintenance plan visits. Click next. This is asking, who do you want to reach out to as the main point of contact to schedule the maintenance visits? And then payment, if we're making a proposal, but we will eventually convert this to an invoice to take payment. So we want this to be on proposal, and click done. All right. We have all of our information here. We will scroll down and then we can present it to the customer. We can convert to an invoice instantly, or we can send it to the customer and they will be able to, approve or decline. Let's do that. Let's send it to the customer. Confirm this is where we want to send it to, and hit send proposal. The customer is going to look that over, and whether they approve or decline it, you will be able to see that from here. So let's say that they have signed it. Next time you come to look at this, you will see that the status has been updated to signed. You can also set in your user notification settings whether or not you would like to receive an email each time a proposal is signed. But that is proposals. Everything we just did is the exact same on invoices. You would click newer copy, add items from your price book, select, oh, well, financing is not available. We mentioned that earlier. So you wouldn't be able to add financing to an invoice, but adding the maintenance plan, pre-populating the contract terms, all that stuff is the same. The biggest difference is you can't take a payment on a proposal. You have to convert it to an invoice. So let's do that now. I will just click convert to invoice right here. And we want the total because we're going to have them pay for the full amount now. And it's going to take everything from the proposal, convert it into an invoice, and now we're in build mode once again. We can make any edits or adjustments here that is needed, but usually what you are offering in the proposal is what the customer is going to pay for, and we don't need to make any changes. So you have some options for taking payment here. Pay now will process through WEX FSM and send the money to your bank account. Record payment is if you're going to process outside of WEX FSM. Good example is someone pays you in cash. You will be able to just record that you took that, and you'll still need to take that cash to the bank. And you can send it to the customer, and they'll be able to make a payment online. If they make that payment online, it's the same as pay now in that it will send the money to your bank account and process through WEX FSM. Let's go ahead and take a payment. Click record payment. If the customer does not sign, it will just prompt you, hey, you didn't get a signature here. Maybe you don't care about that. You can just click next. It will not prevent you from moving forward, even though we do highly recommend you're getting signatures for your jobs. This is saying we are going to make a payment in this amount for this invoice. Scroll down and record payment. Oh, I'm sorry. You do have to select what form of payment. Let's say they paid with a check today. Record payment. All right. And then we have two more sections before we get into our Q&A. We're going to talk about progress billing. I'll show you some reports I recommend checking out to view information about proposals and invoices, and then we'll open it up for questions. So get your questions ready. Progress billing. Now, maybe you don't do progress billing, but if you do, this is actually a pretty new feature that we have added. It's been asked for many years, and we have it now. So progress billing, just in a nutshell, this is going to be when you have typically a larger project that is done in phases, and you would charge the customer as each phase concludes until the entire project is paid in full. The first thing you want to do to set up a progress proposal is create a new proposal. On that proposal, you're going to set up the entire project. In this example, this is a $40,000 project that we will complete in 4 phases. I would have included all the details per phase, and the customer is going to be able to use this to make a decision. This is what you would send to them or demo to them, and customer says, yep, this looks good, let's move forward. This might be a 6-month long job, but you have a document of the entire job as the proposal. When you go to convert to an invoice, you would click convert to invoice. And we want to charge the customer for a percentage of the total proposed amount. Maybe the contract we made in the beginning was 25%. So you're going to pay 25% at the end of the completion of each phase. And now I'm going to essentially export out each invoice. We're converting each 25% invoice. So I would put 25% here. It will create a $10,000 invoice. And then the balance, this is all red right now because I have already done this. So you would do 25%, hit convert to invoice. And in this scenario, if we're doing 25% of 100, you would need to convert to invoice 4 times. And that's what I've done here. So I've made 4 progress invoices. And this is up to you. You can wait until it's time. You finish phase 1, send the first invoice. You finish phase 2, which might be a month from now. you send the second invoice. Or you can preset, just export all at once, all your invoices, but make sure that you set the due date out in the future. That way it doesn't mess with any of your accounts receivable aging reports. So to do that, click on the invoice itself. And you can update the due date right here. Due date. And if you're pre-setting the phases of the project, you probably already know about when the end of each phase would be, and you would just set the date from there. Okay, so that is progress billing in a nutshell. Last thing we're talking about is reporting. And we're just going to spot check through these so you know where to go to look at your information. And actually, we're going to start with the proposal list. So proposals and invoices, we want to get more data, more context around what's going on with those job forms in our system. If you go to jobs, proposal list, this is a big list of all your proposals in your system. If you go to jobs invoice list, this is a big list of all your invoices in your system. If you notice, this has the auto sync status. We mentioned this earlier. Actually, this might be an example right here. Let's see what it says. So if you see that there's an error, it says not ready, click on the details. And sure enough, there it is. This was a item that was added with no invoice income account selected. Select where you want this to sync in QuickBooks. Looks like there's two of them. And hit save. And now I've just troubleshooted that on my own, and it will sync on the next sync. That's usually what those mean. If you see a bunch of them, just click on them. It probably just needs to know where the income account is. Maybe it doesn't know what taxes to apply, but you can do a lot of the troubleshooting right here on your own. And in theory, it shouldn't happen as long as you're doing all the right things, but we know with technology, sometimes things do get missed, and you can shoot those right from here. And then we have a reporting page. So if I go in the main navigation, reporting, a ton of reports here. They do all have a little summary of what each one means. But the ones I would recommend you go check out are going to be the proposals report, receivables report, and job summary. And from the reporting page, we have proposals here, receivables in accounting here, and job summary here. Proposals report will allow you to see your close rate. You will set jobs as an opportunity, and then you'll be able to see whether or not those opportunities were won versus lost, giving you your close rate. The receivables report, great place to look at all of your invoices in your system. You can even click to send out payment reminders. It's really nice when you send these out, you just select all, send invoices, and send, and it'll send a reminder. And it's nice when everyone pays their bill, or a lot of people pay their bill all at one time after bulk reminders are sent out. And finally, the job summary report. This is just a great place to see the number of appointments scheduled versus completed, any proposals that have been signed, invoices. If you see that there is a signed proposal, but there's no invoice, and this was a job from 2 weeks ago, what happened there? And you can do some investigation right from here by clicking on the job and going and taking a look. All right. That is all the information we have for today's presentation. I hope you guys learned something. We're going to shift to our Q&A now, but if you do have any questions at all, start putting those in the chat and we'll get to those. I do want to say thank you guys so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Creating Invoices and Proposals.